Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Jar Radio. Chazak Eliyahu, and here with the rest of the family as we are about to go into another of our teachings. And today we are looking at the topic, are you an overcomer or will you be overcome? Now, this topic is not such a short one, but it is one in which there are actually two parts that we have to marry together. We will try to see if we can go as quickly as possible without losing you. So please stay fixed and pay attention to what is happening. Don't want to lose anyone, but we have to go fast enough so that it does not run too long. Okay? So let me go. We want to also go live on Jar Radio. Remember, this is a presentation of Jar Radio, JAWRADIO.org. Oh boy. Oh, can't go live on the radio. Would have to go to do too much details. I thought I had saved all of that, but not. All right, so another time we'll do that. Yes. So, yeah, we will be going a little quickly. So, you see the question on the screen, are you an overcomer or will you be overcome? This is a very important question because our whole journey is about overcoming. This is the service that has been done to us, especially with the Christian religion, that has taught us anything but us overcoming, telling us that all you have to do is believe. All you need to do is believe, thereby ensuring that we are almost certain to go in the lake of fire because we have no way in part followed the good news. No way in part have we followed the gospel, followed the word of truth. But we are going to try to set things straight today as to the things that we must pay attention to. The fact that we must overcome. And this, of course, will destroy most of the Christian doctrines. Just this simple principle alone. The fact that we have to overcome. And you read it in the top left here on your screen. 2 Peter 2:20. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Master and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. So that hence the question, are you an overcomer or will you be overcome? So after you escape the pollutions, the word pollutions there actually means foulness. And foul means pollutions and deceptions, etc. of this world. Something is polluted, it's called foul. So after you have escaped the sins and all the pollutions of the world, coming to knowledge of Yahusha, and you are then overcome, your latter end is worse than your beginning. In other words, if you pick up the stake to say you're following Yahusha, and you end up being overcome by the wicked one, then your latter end, it is better you had not begun the journey in the first place. So as long as you pick up the stake, you are on a road in which you cannot turn back. You had better make the best of it, because if you don't make the best of it, it would have been better if you never heard the word of truth at all. So we're gonna begin with in the book of Daniel. We're gonna look at the prophecy that saints will be overcome in the end. There will be two sets of saints in the end. There will be some who are overcome and some who have overcome. And it was prophesied in the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel 7 verses 15 to 28.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall rise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
So he's speaking about four great beasts, which will take dominion over the entire earth from the time of the days of Daniel. So the beast shall arise out of the earth, but in the end, the saints will take the kingdom and possess it forever and ever. But before the saints possess it forever, something is going to happen. Verse 19.
Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
So Daniel singled out this fourth beast because it was very outstanding. Fortunately or unfortunately for us, we are living in this time of the fourth beast, where they are setting up their kingdom, and they call it the fourth industrial revolution. Would you know it? The world is asleep, and the Most High made them even name their kingdom the fourth, so that you can say, hey, fourth, Daniel, this is the fourth kingdom. But many people are sleeping. The number 4 is our signal that this is the fourth kingdom that is spoken about in Daniel. And let's see what is supposed to happen during this time.
And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
So in the end, there's going to come up 10 horns, 10 powers. So what they're doing today, they're setting up their New World Order, Fourth Industrial Revolution kingdom. And they are going to divide it into 4 kingdoms, 4 districts throughout the world. And it says there are 3 horns, 3 horns, and 1 horn that came up. Yeah, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes. So I believe that these 3 horns will be 3 powerful kings or kingdoms that are ruling this world. And if anyone's guess, because this can only be a guess, there's nothing profound, just go to the 3 most dominant countries in the world today. The top 3 military powers. These are who I believe it might just be. Don't quote me on it, but it just comes to mind. United States, China, and Russia. These are the 3 foremost nations in the world in terms of power. But another horn will come up. And I believe that this horn, and we're going to look at it later, is what they call, popular known as the antichrist. I believe that there will be one power that comes up that will rule the New World Order. They are setting up a one world kingdom. And the ruler of that kingdom that is coming will be Satan, and who will come in the form of a man, just as Hamashiach came in the form, as Yahuwah came in the form of a man, inhabiting a man. Satan will come and inhabit a man, just the same in the end. Continue in 21.
I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them.
That's what we're talking about now. The same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. And we know in the book of Revelation 12, it tells us about the Most High setting apart a people in the wilderness. And then Satan is going to make war with the remnant of the seed who were not in the wilderness, who also keep the commandments of Alua and the Emanah of Yahusha. This is the same horn that made war with the saints, the same power, and prevailed against them. Because Satan will be warring through men. The Most High speaks to us and leads us through men. Satan does the same. He inhabits men and leads them to do his will. Because it's all about Ruachot, all about spirit. Verse 22.
Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
So that's why we're telling you that it's important to deal with the situation about overcoming. Very important. Some saints will be overcome and some will overcome. Very important that we look at this to see which bracket we are likely to fall in and what we need to do to make adjustments, if any. Continue.
Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
And there's your clue. It shall devour the whole earth. What does it mean? It shall devour the whole earth. It shall eat up the whole earth. And when in the history of mankind have we ever seen a kingdom eating up the whole earth than this New World Order kingdom? One world government in which all the nations of the world has signed on to this agenda, United Nations agenda, whatever they call it. I have to kind of watch what I say because the other day YouTube struck one of our Mark of the Beast teachings sometime in April. So long after the words that we say, they come back and they strike them out. Anyway, I might start using some words that you'll have to understand. And then verse 24.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Time, times, and a dividing of time. That is 3.5 years. The saints will be given into his hand. So the Most High is going to give the saints into the hand of the anti-Messiah, into the hand of Satan for 3.5 years. Now, what do we do in that 3.5 years? What do saints do? If you're given in the hand of Satan, you have to do what? Have to overcome. We must overcome. Several types of overcoming. But the bottom line is, the saints will be given into their hands. The saints have to overcome. Now let's look at the prophetic end-time manifestation of Daniel 7, which is in Revelation 13, verses 1 to 8. The same thing. John saw it in his vision. Revelation 13, let me change it. Revelation 13, 1 to 8.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
All right, so we've looked at this several times before, showing the 7 heads to be the G7 nations, 7 nations that rule the world through the United Nations. And when the rule is set up, it will be divided into 10. The world will be divided into 10 and 10 districts, and led by one person who will be leading the entire world. I believe that would be what they call the antichrist or anti-Messiah. Revelation 13:2.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. Now
this lion, leopard, and bear were spoken about by Daniel and prophesied by Daniel. And we see the same thing manifested today. Why is it manifested today? Because all the old kingdoms, you see, the Most High has summarily summoned these nations for their judgment. These nations that have caused havoc have not really been judged. Look at the Romans. Look how many centuries the Romans have dominated. Look what they did. They destroyed Jerusalem 70 AD. Even in the time of Hamashiach, they had Judah under suppression. Italy is still going today, still going strong. One of the 7 nations in the G7 nations, one of the 7 top nations in the world. They have not been judged. What the Most High has done, and Greece also in NATO, still strong, albeit 10 million people. Can you imagine this now? Greeks, one of the most powerful nations in the world, even though they might be getting poor, some might argue, but still they have clout. Only 10-point-odd million people. Look at the nations in this world, the Edomite nations. Their populations are very small. Portugal has 10-point-odd million people. Portugal is a force to be reckoned with in the background as well. Yeah, so they have not gotten their punishment. Over the years, they have sucked our people dry. We know about the Portuguese Jews, and our people are scattered all over, and they have sucked our nation dry. They have not been punished. What the Most High has done is made sure that they come back and rise up in the end. All of them come together. All of them come together in one for one big judgment upon them. That's why in the statue that Nebuchadnezzar saw, a stone came and hit down the entire kingdom. That's what's going to happen. All of them will be destroyed. So all the nations come together in one to get one big fat judgment. Revelation 13:3.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
Well, I believe that this wounded is Rome, that is rising back up again through the nation they call Italy, rising up in the economic as an economic powerhouse in the G7, and also the power of the Roman Catholic Church rearing itself up again. Rome rising back up. Verse 4.
And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
So the beast is going to be so powerful. Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? This beast system is manifested today in the form, I believe, of NATO. You can go on our website. We did an article about the Revelation 7 beast. But in the end, one person will come in the forefront and will be leading this beast. And that is who they call the antichrist or the anti-messiah. Verse 5.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
That 42 months is 3.5 years. In the book of Daniel, it says that the saints will be given into his hand times and a half, times it is 3.5 years. So this 3.5 years, when this anti-messiah will rise up, he will have power over the saints of the Most High. Verse 6.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Elohim, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
Verse 7.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations.
So this verse alone tells you that this is a new world order. Power was given him over all kindreds, all tribes, all tongues, all languages, and all nations. New world order. The first time in the history of the world, dominion has been given over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. But very importantly for what we are speaking about today, it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. So if we are in this end time, What do you think we need to be? I often liken our journey as soldiers. How many times have I said we are soldiers? If we don't have the mindset of a soldier, we are going to be overcome. A soldier never gives up. If a soldier gives up and surrenders the secret, it is treason, punishable unto death. So he is trained not to give up. And even if you surrender, never ever give them any secret, even if they torture you unto death. Meaning, the similitude is that we also must not bow to the enemy. We have to train ourselves so that we do not bow to the enemy. So there is no space for sensitivity, for being sensitive when people talk to us and we cannot take this and I don't like this and I don't appreciate this and this is that. Soldiers take anything that is thrown at them. This is the mindset that we have to have, people. We have to be rugged, rough, strong, full of emanah. So full of emanah that we are not petty. We are willing to go through anything and suffer for righteousness' sake, just as Yahushua HaMashiach. Because we are almost in this time when they are going to pour out this thing on us. And those who are weak are going to bow. And that is why before all of this happens, the Most High says what? Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Why did he tell us to flee? Because Babylon will be our comfort zone. He wants to take us out of our comfort so that we can be trained. And that's what's happening to us here. Taken out of our comfort and we are being trained to take things more rugged. Yeah? And that's why for us here, you see, for example, no more cooking. We go outside with the cooking. Everything gets more rugged and more rough. We started here sleeping in the house. No more sleeping in the tents. Rough, soldier business. Now, when these things happen and we are made more rugged, then when the anti-Messiah pours on what he has to pour on us, then we'll be able to stand up. If not, if we are too weak, we are going to be trod over and we are going to be overcome and bow to the anti-Messiah. Because this is how powerful this beast will be. Look at verse 8.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
Verse 9.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Yay. What he's telling you, look carefully into what I'm saying and take heed to it. If any man have an ear, let him hear is always given to things that are very, very critical and important, but not easily understood. We have to become soldiers, people, especially in this end time. These are the days that we are living in. Okay, that was just an introduction as to what we have to face. So we spoke about overcoming, but there is one overcomer that the Most High gave us as a precedence for us to see and to follow. You know, Torah will just give us some stories, and the stories just seem vague. But there are such great lessons in these stories. We claim to be the children of Yasharal, children of Jacob, the descendants of Jacob. But we have to pattern our lives over Jacob, because Jacob was an overcomer. And if we, his children, do not overcome, we cannot see the kingdom. It is just how the Most High works. Remember we said that our thing is like a game show, where you have to go through certain things and in the end you win. That's how the Most High works with us. So what we have to go through, we have to go through. Jacob went through and overcame. And we're going to see how he overcame. Because to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So we have to go to the Torah to see overcoming. And we go to the book of Bereshith 32, verses 1 to 16. The book of Genesis 32, verses 1 to 16.
And Jacob went on his way.
All right, look at the top. You see this. Jacob fears Esau. Now, this is why we have to overcome. There's inbuilt natural fear from us, from the natural man. The opposite of fear is emunah, or faith. Without emunah, we are going to be fearful. Now, Jacob was fearful of Esau. But the Most High had to bring out in his ruach fearlessness in order for him to overcome the fear. Likewise, we too, we are going to be fearful of different things. The Most High has to bring out faith, or emunah, in us in order for us to conquer fear. Because without the emunah, it is impossible to please Allah and impossible for us to enter the kingdom. So it has to put us in situations in which our emunah has to triumph over fear. So let's see what happened to Jacob. Genesis 32, verse 1.
And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of Allah met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is Allah's host." And he called the name of that place Mahananim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Yehor and my master Esau. Thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and asses, flocks and men servants, and women servants. And I have sent to tell my master, that I may find favour in thy sight. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, with 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and herds, and the camels, into 2 bands, and said, If Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. And Jacob said, O Allah of my father Abraham, and Allah of my father Yitzchak, the master which saidst unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee.
So the Most High told Jacob to return to his country. But in returning to his country, Esau came to meet him, and he was fearful. So this, again, is like what happened in the wilderness when they saw what Yahuwah did, and then when it was time to face the giants, they became fearful. So Jacob had to prove himself. Continue.
I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother with the children.
All right, so what's the difference with Jacob here and with the children of Israel, the 10 who came back with the bad report, and the people who believe them? Where's the mic? You're gonna need a mic if you're going. Yes, he prayed. The difference was he prayed. He was afraid, but he prayed. The others were afraid, and they took their decision on their own. That, no, we're not going. That's the difference. Continue.
And thou saidst, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came to his hand, a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milch camels with their colts, 40 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove.
All right? So that was it, just to show the fear that he had for Esau. But then, what happened? Genesis 32:22. Verse 22. So, he was fearful. So what did the Most High do? Put something in his way that he had to overcome. Verse 22, read please.
And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them, and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Yasharal. For as a prince hast thou power with allure and with men, and has prevailed.
You see? The obstacle. As a prince hast thou power with allure and with men, and hast prevailed. And when we look in the meaning of the word Israel, we get more insights as to just what our calling actually is. Verse 29.
And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, for I have seen allure face to face, and my life is preserved.
There we go. So, the Jacob was fearful of Esau, but the Most High put the obstacle in his way and brought out the strength and the fearlessness in him, battling with an angel and prevailing over an angel. And the angel said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Yasharal. For as a prince hast thou power with allure and with men, and hast prevailed. So let's look at that name. Prince hast thou power with men. First of all, the meaning of overcome. Jacob overcame the angel. In the Old Testament, H3201, to be able, literally or morally, might, be able, any at all, attain, can away with, could endure, might, overcome, have power, prevail, still suffer. In the New Testament, it's nikao, from to subdue, and that nikao is where you get Nicolaitan, the word Nicolaitan from. To subdue, literally or figuratively, conquer, overcome, prevail, get the victory. So the meaning of Israel, it says from H8280, transliteration Sarah, outline of biblical usage: to contend, to have power, contend with. So you see, people, we have to be contenders. We have to wrestle. We have to, just as Jacob wrestled with the angel, we have to wrestle and contend for our salvation. It's not a walk in the park. It's not you just become a believer and then life is easy. So many people want this, everything to be comfortable. As soon as something happens, they get miserable and flustered and this and that and get miserable on people. Those are things that are thrown in our way in order for us to overcome. We have to overcome. So to contend, to have power, to contend with, to persist, to exert oneself, to persevere, to contend with. The KJV Strongs in the following manner. It is Sarah, to prevail, to have power as a prince. Therefore the name Israel. Strong's definition, he will rule as a Lua. They call it Yisrael, a symbolic name of Jacob. So as a man have you had power with Alua. So what does it mean? Each one of us have to have power with Alua, just like Jacob. We have to contend and have power with the Most High. Why do you think the word says you shall be the sons of Alua? How come? The sons of Alua means you have to contend. You have to prevail. So, Yasharal actually means to be a prince who prevails, who overcomes, and has power with the Most High. You cannot have power with the Most High until you prevail. What did Hamashiach say to his apostles, his disciples? And ye shall have power. After that, Ruach HaKadosh has come upon you. But tarry in Jerusalem. And they tarried there for about 10 days, waiting on the gift of the Ruach until they were rewarded. So if we do not prevail, we cannot have power with the Most High. So every person who is approved of Alua must overcome like Jacob. Then he can hope to be his son as a prince and rule with him in the kingdom. That is why trials and afflictions and troubles are given to us, people. It's not given to us because the Most High doesn't like us or because he's evil, he's wicked. But you have to overcome to have power with him. So I think we let the cat out of the bag. How are we given power to overcome today? How are we given power to overcome today? How? Ruach HaKadosh. Acts 1 verse 8. And I didn't even remember that I had put it down. Acts 1 verse 8.
But ye shall receive power after that Ruach HaKadosh is come upon you, and you shall be my witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
All right. So when the Ruach is upon you, the Ruach will make you become a witness. You will not be a fearful witness. You will not be fearful of speaking the word of the Most High. You will be a witness unto him. Romans 15:13.
Now the allure of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing that ye may abound in hope through the power of the Ruach HaKadosh.
That is the power that we're given. 2 Corinthians 13:4.
For though he was crucified through weakness, yet he liveth by the power of allure.
You see the adversity? Killed through weakness. Yet he lived by the power of allure. We have to contend even unto death in order to be able to live with Yahuwah. Yahusha was our example. We have to be willing to go all the way. Continue.
For we also are weak in him, but we shall live with him by the power of allure toward you.
There we go. We are weak, but we shall have power. We shall have power through the Ruach when we contend. When we overcome. Now, Here's a few things about those who overcome. I want you to listen to them carefully. Those who overcome cannot love the world. Those who overcome cannot love the world. The Most High is telling us about this fourth kingdom. He's telling us how to escape this fourth kingdom. He says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and save every man his soul. He said, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins and receive not of her plagues. Everybody now is finding an alternative, it seems, because they love the world. If you overcome, you have to overcome the world. First thing you have to overcome, though, you have to overcome yourself, your sinful nature. And you also have to overcome the world. If you do not overcome the world, you have been overcome by the devil, because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the world is in the hand of the wicked, and you love the world. That means you have not overcome the wicked. Very simple. Let's go to 1 John 2:15.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
So remember Yasharal, Jacob. He was told that as a prince shall you have power with Alua. How can we have power with Alua if the love of the Father is not in us? Loving the world automatically means that the Most High will take himself away, because the world is his enemy. Because the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. We only have to see what the people of the world are doing today to know that the world is the enemy of the Most High. In fact, we're going to see a verse that says, friendship with the world is enmity with Alua, but don't want to jump the gun. So you don't want to be enemies of the Most High by loving the world. Continue.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Not of the Father. So when you love the world, you are loving the things of Satan, of Hasatan, not the Father. 1 John 2:17.
And the world passeth away, and the lusts thereof, but he that doth the will of Alua abideth forever.
So those who do the will of Alua will be those who overcome the world. Very, very simple. The world is inclined towards evil, all sorts of evil. We see all sorts of evil that is taking place on this earth. So much evil it is, you can't even start talking. So those who overcome the world will be those who do not love this evil world. That is the will of the Father. So those who overcome cannot love the world. And guess what? Neither will the world love the overcomers. If you're an overcomer, if you reject this world, the world will hate you. John 15:18-19. So you cannot love it, and it cannot love you.
If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world,
therefore the world hateth you. So if you have overcome, you will not love the world, and the world will not love you. So those of us who are looking validation from the world, from friends and families who are still in the world, you are going to be waiting a very long time. That is why our friends and families in the world have become distant and all of that. All right? The world will not love you. And what we just said already, if we are friends with the world, then we are enemies of Alua. I'm done. I wonder if this is the right chapter. Let me see. Isaiah 66:18-23. Let me see if it's the right one. Isaiah 66:18. I wonder if I made an error there. Nope. No, that's the wrong one. Let me go. James 4. Let's go. Where did I start from again? Start at verse 1. James 4, verse 1.
From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lusts that war in your members? Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lusts. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Allure? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Allure.
There we go. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Allure. Now, let me just say, I didn't even plan to put in this part, but let me just say, for those people out there who just do not get it, who people have deceived about fleeing out of the midst of Babylon, you have to understand this. You don't just take up things abstractly from the Bible and say that this is going to happen again. In the book of Jeremiah 16, I think it's about 16 or 14 or 15, it says, it shall no more be said, Allure liveth, that brought up the children of Yasharal. Let me just mention it here again. Jeremiah 16. Because many people are looking to the Egyptian captivity, not understanding the end time promises of the Most High. Just looking, oh, we were taken out of Egypt. Oh, he's going to come and take us again. Where do you get that from? Where do you get that from? It is from people who love the world, who do not want to obey the commandment to flee, who want an excuse to stay in the world. John 16:14 tells you plainly, explicitly, Jeremiah, explicitly, that he's not going to come and take you up out of Egypt again. Read it, please.
Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahuwah, that it shall no more be said, Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Yasharal out of the land of Egypt. But Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Yasharal from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
All right. So there he tells you explicitly, I am not going to take you up out of Egypt again. But he will bring us up out from the land of the north. And where is the land of the north? What does the Bible refer to as the land of the north? Ezekiel 26 verse 7.
For thus says Yahuwah Allure, behold, I will bring upon Tyrus Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, a king of kings, from the north, with horses and with chariots and with horsemen and companies and much people.
From the north, and a couple other places it refers to Babylon in the north. So the north country will be a Babylonian deliverance, because Egyptian captivity is slavery. Egyptian captivity is slavery. We are no longer in slavery. When they said they freed us from slavery, we were taken out of our Egyptian captivity and brought into Babylon to partake of Babylon's system. So the similitude of our captivity is now Babylon. Now the Most High did not come and go into Babylon and snatch people out. Why is that? Because Babylon is sweet. Babylon is alluring. Babylon is not a place where you're going to be sighing as the children of Israel did in Exodus 2:25 when they were under hard bondage. Let me go there. And so they sighed to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah had mercy upon them. We are not sighing. Many of us here. Read Exodus 2:24 to Exodus 2:23.
And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Yasharel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up unto Allur by reason of the bondage.
Which one of us is sighing and crying? As a matter of fact, in Babylon, some of us were so comfortable. And the reason most don't want to leave there is because Babylon is so comfortable. So nice. Egypt is where we were in slavery on the plantations, sighing and crying. But the Most High says, no man shall redeem you. Why did he say no man shall redeem you? No man shall redeem you from the bondage of Egypt that I'm going to put you in. So he made us go into the so-called liberators, liberated us. And even though they're still prejudiced against us, they still allowed us to partake in Babylon. Many of us have become successful. Now, when the Most High was telling his people to leave Babylon, how did he deliver them? Because the people like to say now, everywhere is Babylon. But the Most High says, voluntarily leave. You have to voluntarily leave. Why? Because you have to overcome the world. Babylon now represents the world, something you now have to overcome. So that is your battle with Jacob battle, one of the battle of Jacob, to wrestle, to free yourself from this world and to overcome the world. So you have to now leave Babylon. Because this is how we said, Micah 4:10, he told us how to leave Babylon. He didn't say flee. And let me go to Jeremiah, to his instructions. Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51. Because time is running out for many people. Start from verse 5 to 6, please.
For Yasharel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his Allur, of Yahuwah of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Yasharel.
So Yahuwah has not forsaken us. Therefore, he's going to come into Babylon and take us out. Is that so? No, he says he has not forsaken you. So when you hear he has not forsaken you, oh, he's going to come and take me out. Let's see what verse 6 says.
Flee.
Hey, what?
Flee.
You see the deliverance? A different deliverance. He did not come to the children of Israel in Egypt and say, flee out of the midst of Egypt. Because they were in bondage, hard labor. We are not at hard labor. We are not in slaves on the plantation, in shackles and yokes around our necks and being whipped. No, some of us are sitting pretty, very rich and successful in Babylon's system. We have to now volunteer. What am I going to do? Am I going to overcome the world? Because if you stay in there and sit pretty in there, the world has overcome you. So that is why the command to flee. Read verse 6, please.
Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
You see this? Deliver every man his soul. The Most High is not coming to deliver your soul. You have to first deliver your soul. Or else you're going to be cut off in your iniquity when Yahuwah puts out his vengeance on Babylon. And further down, I think it's about 42 or thereabout, it tells us again at 30. Where is it again? Where is it again? Where is it? Let me find it. He said it again in this. I think it's the same verse. No, it's verse 8. It's verse chapter 50, verse 8. Here he says it again.
Remove.
Do what?
Remove.
So when you remove, is it someone coming to you? This is something that you do voluntarily. Verse 8, read it please.
Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and
And go forth
out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks.
There we get the instruction again. The Most High is not going to come to you in Babylon. If it comes to you in Babylon, some of us are gonna what you call it? Are gonna embarrass him. When he sends the angel to come, he start asking questions. So who sent you? The Most High sent me. To do what? To take you out of Babylon. But Babylon? But I don't want to leave here. So who told you that I wanted to leave? Just think about it. Huh? How do I know? Then the angel now would have to go around doing all sorts of miracles just to impress him. And after he does the miracles and impress him, he says, well, I'm still not interested. Yeah. That's it. So why would the Most High go in comfortable Babylon for you? You have to volunteer to come out and show him that you're interested in his kingdom. So in Micah 4:10, we have to put in this part as we talk about overcoming. Micah 4:10, he told us how he will deliver us out of Babylon. Because yes, the whole world is Babylon, yes, but he did not say, flee out of Babylon. He says, out of the midst of Babylon. That is one of the things that we have to accentuate, that we did not. In Jeremiah 50 verse 8, he says, remove out of the
midst of Babylon.
The midst. The midst of Babylon means the center of Babylon. It means that you are in Babylon and you're partaking of the system of Babylon. That is the midst of Babylon. And in Jeremiah 51 verse 6, it says the same thing. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Didn't say flee Babylon. Flee out of the midst. Now, when you have fled out of the midst, in Micah 4:10, it tells you what you need to do. Micah 4 verse 10. Read, please.
Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail.
He's telling us here what we need to be doing in the end times, the children of Israel in the end times. Let's see what we should be doing. Continue.
For now shalt thou go forth out of the city.
Out of the city, out of the midst of Babylon, and
thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon.
There shalt thou be delivered. So what did the Most High tell us to do? Leave the city and come out. You have to remove yourself. So we won't even go into the fact of where we need to go or which fields we need to go, because the Most High showed us exactly where we need to go. Fleeing out of Babylon doesn't necessarily mean fleeing and just coming out of a particular city. In 2nd Esdras and in the book of 2nd Baruch, it tells us that only those found in the land will be protected. Only those found in the land. All right? So, you have to put in that to let people understand what it means to be a friend of the world. If you are not willing to flee out of the midst of Babylon, and that is your test right now, then you remain a friend of the world and therefore an enemy of the Most High. Micah 4:10. Now, another thing about the set apart people who have overcome, when you have overcome, the world will not know the true people of the Most High. Those who have overcome, they are called cultists, they are called idiots, they are called fanatics, they are called all sorts of things. But they are called everything by the mainstream except the people of the Most High. They don't turn and look and say, oh, there is the person of the Most High. Who do the Christians call man of God? Who? The man who goes on the pulpit and does all sorts of antics and talks all sorts of foolishness and might conjure up some miracle. These are the men of God. And they call him man of God. Huh? One scripture and nothing else to back it, and he's a man of God. But if you, as a believer now, who are willing to give up everything and to walk on the narrow way and follow the way, they don't call you man of the Most High. They call you all different types of names, because the world will not know the true people of the Most High. 1 John 3:1.
Behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of Eloah. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not.
Because it knew him not. So we are going to feel funny in this world. Just sometimes you just glance and says, was I supposed to go back into this world? How would I fit in? Could not fit in to the world. Because with all that the Most High has revealed and the understanding, you are going to feel, as they say, a fish, like a fish out of water. I'll be like, what am I doing here? I couldn't exist there because I have rejected the world. And I know I speak for other people here as well. 1 John 3:2.
Beloved, now are we the sons of Eloah, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is.
So, we are the sons of Eloah when we overcome, totally overcome the world. You cannot overcome the world, again I'm saying it, people, if you continue to love the world and refuse to flee out of the midst of Babylon. No matter what excuse you have, no matter what excuse, oh, I don't believe that we should flee. I don't believe this and I don't believe that and that and that. Whatever it is, you remain holding on to this world. You don't believe South Africa is a place? Well, flee out into a field then and prove it. 1 John 3:3.
And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure.
So that's it. That's the overcoming. When we are overcomers, we walk in perfection. So we purify ourselves because we have this hope of being the sons of Eloah. And 1 Peter 2:11 tells us this.
Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul.
That verse is saying so much. We must be willing to be strangers and pilgrims. That is why we are called to flee out of Babylon. We cannot be strangers and pilgrims in Babylon. No matter what, you cannot be a stranger and pilgrim there at this particular point in time. How Babylon is today, reaching right to the end time. It says, abstain from fleshly lusts. So if you are not willing to be strangers and pilgrims, fleshly lusts will war against your soul and bring you down to loving the world. All right, so how do we overcome the world? We receive Ruach HaKadosh through emunah, through belief, through faith. We overcome the world through faith. 1 John 5:1.
Whosoever believeth that Yahushua is Hamashiach is born of Eloah, and every one that loveth him that begat loveth him also that is begotten of him.
So it is this faith, this emunah in Yahushua Hamashiach, this belief that makes us overcome the world. 1 John 5:2.
By this we know that we love the children of Eloah, when we love Eloah and keep his commandments. For this is the love of Eloah, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
And one of his commandments is to flee out of the midst of Babylon. 1 John 5:4.
For whosoever is
Whatsoever.
For whatsoever is born of Eloah overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith.
You see that? You see how that ties up? If you are born of Eloah, you overcome the world. But you cannot overcome the world without emunah. This is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. So you have to have faith to overcome. And you must overcome the world to be born of a lure. Now, this big test that we have in this end times, because all governments all over the world are doing all sorts of things. I remember back in the COVID, the pandemic, we were telling people about their plans. We were telling them about the digital currency. And you know one thing though, when the things happen over time, because the people who were speaking about it, a lot of people were speaking on hitting about it. We were before our time. A whole lot of people were on the internet warring. And when I say warring, not physical, warring and telling people this is what they're going to do. That we were before our time. And guess what? When it happens, nobody comes back to us and said, oh, it looks like you were right. Because right now, governments all over the world are setting up their digital currencies. I saw a video with Jamaica the other day. Jamaican Prime Minister has announced. I wish I should have prepared it and played it here to see how profound and where it actually is. He has announced that Jamaica is going fully digital. Everywhere is going digital. Digital currency has already rolled out, and the banks are being directed to make sure that they go towards fully digitizing, and everything will be digital. All the government ministers, everything will be digital. Huh? What's it? No, it's not a protest. Let me see. I think I have it on my phone. Let me see. I think I can get it here. Yeah, let me see if I can get the sound on. But these people have to chat on their video. This is not the one that I got. I think, I couldn't find that one. Yeah? Oh, this is a man chatting. Yeah. You have one? Let me see if this is the one. Because it just goes straight to the... What is this about? Oh. I just want to hear him talking. I don't want to hear anybody else talking. That's what I wanted.
Fairly poorly supported protests, as the numbers were not that big. Those who came out voiced their displeasure with the pay increases received by some parliamentarians. However, this protester had a message for the public.
No.
I am here to let the people know that it's not only about a salary increase of the government, but also the evil agenda that is coming, the cashless society. When the society becomes cashless, you will lose your freedom. Right now we are both using cash and we are using online banking system. We have two options. But when they take away the option for you to spend cash, that is when you're going to lose your freedom. And that is where we're going to see Revelation chapter 13, verse 15 to 17 fulfilled. Where the Bible says that no man will be able to buy or sell, save he that have the mark of the beast. And if you don't go along with this evil agenda that is being pushed by the governments of the world, your account will be cancelled. Your money will be cancelled. So my encouragement to the people of Jamaica today is to repent of your sins, turn to Jesus Christ, and take your monies out the bank. Flee to the country. Grow your own food. Plant your own food and grow your own food. For the only way you are going to be able to stand up against this evil system that is ruled by governments and rulers of darkness in high places is to give your lives to the Lord and do the physical, spiritual, necessary preparation by planting your own food, sell your house in Kingston, and flee to the country. Because we are going to be encircled on every corner. Can't buy, can't sell. And if you're living in the cities and you don't have food, you're going to end up have to join the protest, tear down Mr. Shin wholesale, or eat concrete. So my advice to you is to take your monies out the bank while the money system is going digital. Because when it is too late, you won't be able to have access to that money anymore. So do that which is right now. Your government says it's going to accelerate the movement for the implementation of a digital society. And when that time comes, it will be time for the mark of the beast to be enforced. Jesus Christ is coming soon. Repent and give your life.
All right, we can do it all. Yeah, he has the same idea. He has the idea. Yeah. So the Prime Minister said he's going to accelerate towards a digital society. And you know what the Prime Minister said? It's going to be controlled by AI. Yeah? These are the things that we're telling people when they were taking this injection into their bodies. That's what we were telling them. That this is to attach you to their AI system. You're going to be controlled by a central computer. And nobody listened to us. And now it's coming out. Nobody says, you know, you were right, it seems. Because then it sounded crazy. I remember when we were talking about it, sometime I said, I'm saying, I wonder if these people think I'm crazy. Talking about AI controlling you and all sort of things. This is what is happening. So he says full digital all over. What do you think that means? Digital is also in your bodies when you took that injection. So now we see these days upon us, people. And it's you even hear that man saying to flee, to leave sell your house and flee. This is where we're at. Now the test is, who is going to still love the world? Who is going to stay in the world and wait on somebody, an invisible, never ever coming person to deliver them? That is the question. 1 John 5:5.
Who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Yahusha is the son of Eluah?
So it is that emunah that is going to lead us now to take action. Because here it is, when you flee out of Babylon, in the book of John 11, I think it says, 49 to 52, it tells you that Yahusha is going to gather the children of Israel who are scattered abroad. It is through belief in Yahusha that will give you Ruach HaKadosh, the Holy Spirit, and through the Ruach HaKadosh, Yahusha will communicate with you and tell you what to do. Without that belief in him, there will be no Ruach in you telling you what to do. Because it is the Ruach that allows us to flee. So, Revelation 2:1-7 tells us the importance of emunah and endurance in overcoming the world. I wonder if this is the right one again. Some of these things are just Revelation 2:1-7. That doesn't sound familiar. Let me see if I missed it. What is the topic? The importance of faith and endurance in overcoming the world. Yes, let's go.
Unto the angel of the assembly of Ephesus write, These things saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. I know thy works, and thy labour, and thy patience, and how that thou canst not bear them which are evil. And thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars.
Continue.
And hast borne, and hast patience, and for my name's sake hast laboured, and has not fainted.
So what we are seeing here in the book of Revelation is how we have to be in perfection in order to overcome. Notice he says, know thy works. Works are good. The labor is good. Patience is good. And as a matter of fact, the patience is so good that it is in 2 verses. Verse 2 and verse 3. Patience. And has labored and has not fainted. But you are not being found perfect, boy. Continue. Verse 4.
Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love.
Hey. So you see, when we come into this, we have to be consistently on fire. If we are not consistently on fire, if the way we are now is not the same way we were when we just came and heard the word, totally on fire and excited, if we are not at that position, then we have lost our first love. We have left our first love. If we have left our first love, this is what we need to do. Verse 5.
Remember therefore from whence thou art fallen, and repent, and do the first works, or else I will come unto thee quickly, and will remove thy candlestick out of his place except thou repent.
So we have to repent and go back to where we were from the very first day. We have to be on fire every single day. But you have something good going for you in that you hate the deeds of the Christians, which Yahushua Mashiach also hates. There's no coincidence, people, that you hear us talking against Christianity so often. Christianity is Nicolaitanism. And those people who are followers of the way will hate the deeds of the Nicolaitans. Read verse 6.
But this thou hast, that thou hatest the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate.
So Nicolaitanism is the system of Christianity, victory over the people, triumphing over the people, subduing the people. That is what Nicolaitan means. And these people are subdued in the religion and brought into subjection in the religion. So that Nicolaitan religion has certain attributes that we hate, and almost every single day we come together, we have to speak about something to do with that evil religion of Hasatan. Verse 7.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the assemblies. To him that overcometh.
To him that does what?
To him that overcometh.
People, our life as believers is to overcome. We cannot overcome without obstacles. We have to be perfect. We have to be perfect. Matthew 5:48, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. We have to overcome the world, overcome ourselves, and be perfect. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Alua. We must overcome in order to be able to eat of the tree of life. So, to truly overcome and to please the Most High and to get the backing, the full backing of the Most High, no sin must be found in us. No sin must be found in us. And some people makes that sound so impossible. But let's read in the book of Judith, chapter 5, 16 to 21, how the Most High views his people. Judith 5, 16 to 21. Now, Judith here was speaking to what's his name? Holofernes, I think. He was speaking to the king, who she wanted to trick. So she was telling them about the history of the children of Israel. And in the end, she's going to tell you how the Most High views them when they are in sin and when sin is away from them. Read from verse 16, please.
And they cast forth before them the Canaanite, the Pharisite, the Jebusite, and the Sychemite, and all the Girgasites. And they dwelt in that country many days.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst they sinned not before their allure, they prospered, because the allure that had hated iniquity was with them.
So while you're not sinning, you will prosper, because Yahuwah that hates iniquity will be with you. But, there's a but. Continue.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their allure was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies.
So you see, when they are overcome, when they depart from the way, when they are overcome, then everything bears sway over them. Verse 19.
But now are they returned to their allure, and are come up from the places where they were scattered.
So this is our attempt today to possess Jerusalem. Continue.
And have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
Mm-hmm.
Now therefore, my master and governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their allure, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
But
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my master now pass by.
Yay! Leave them alone. If they have no iniquity, you had better leave them alone, because Yahuwah is going to defend them. Read 21.
Lest their master defend them, and their allure before them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
You see that? This was Achior speaking, and he was speaking to his people. It wasn't Judith, it was Achior. He was speaking to his people and telling them to beware of the Israelites. If there is sin in them, you can get them. Why do you think these nations in the world try their best to keep us so sinful, people? Why? Why do you think they try to keep us sinful? As long as sin is in us, they can trample all over us. But when we return, yea, woe be unto the nations. When we return to the Most High in righteousness, there's nothing that can stop us. Everything. That is why they're giving us this pollution in our bodies, this injection in our bodies as well, to make sure we are polluted before the Most High. And putting in G oxide into the food and all sorts of corruptions in the food to get us. As long as we are corrupted before the Most High, they got us. So they work overtime. People don't understand this world, why it's run. That is why they do this evil. It's for us. As long as they do the evil upon the earth and get us corrupted, they are good. The power base remains with them and with their children. Huh? Micah 2:10. Go ahead.
Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
Yay.
Because it is polluted. It
It
shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction.
That's it. Arise and depart, for this is not your rest. This is what is being told to the people who are in Babylon today. Arise and depart, for this is not your rest. What you going to do about it? Are you going to arise and depart? Or are you going to fall prey to the world? That's it. As long as you stay there, you're going to be polluted. All right? And we have a consolation as well. Now, if you put your trust in the Most High, you're in Babylon now, and you truly decide that, hey, you're going to flee. None that truly put their trust in Him will be overcome. So you want to overcome? Truly put your trust in Him. Everything. Believe in Him for everything. Don't take anything in your own hands. Trust in Him for everything, and there is no way you can be overcome. First Maccabees 2:50. First Maccabees 2:50.
Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers.
So you see, as he said, to overcome, you have to be willing to give up your life. This is what it's saying. Continue.
Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall you receive great honor and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness?
You hear that, Christian? Abraham was found faithful in temptation. That's why we're saying in this world, you are going to have temptations, trial, and everything, but you have to be faithful in them. And being faithful in temptation, it was imputed unto him for righteousness. Verse 53.
Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made master of Egypt.
Continue.
Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Yahusha, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Yasharel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land.
So all of these people remained faithful throughout when they didn't have to remain faithful. Continue.
David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. Ananias, Azarias, and Misael, by believing, were saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
You have to put your trust in him. So, when the Most High says, flee out of the midst of Babylon, you have to now put your trust in him. Most people, as we say, try to calculate everything. And turn on the light, please. Most people try to calculate every single thing there is in order before they make their move. You have to put your trust in him like Abraham, who did not ask anything when he was to leave. Verse 62.
Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his splendor shall be dung and worms. Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing.
All right, so the sinful man trying to set up their kingdom on the earth, it is going to work for a while until it is brought down. So you don't fear the sinful man, you obey what the Most High says. So you place your emphasis on obedience. Because some people are saying, oh, you're fearful, so you run. No. We were told to move, so we move. If you want to take it as fear, well, so be it. But the Most High gave us an instruction. What are we going to say? The Most High gave us an instruction and said, no, Father, I'm macho. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. No. He told us to move, so we move. We have nothing to prove to any man. What we have to do is to obey the Most High. Now, overcoming requires great spiritual strength. It requires great emunah, so as for us not to be overcome. Because when 2 Peter 2, it told us that if you return to where you come from after you have received the knowledge of Yahusha, then your end is worse than the beginning. For us not to go there, we have to have emunah. We have to go through the fire. We have to go through tests and trials. We have to go through it in order not to be overcome. We have to be strong. Luke 11:21-23.
When a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace.
When a
strong man
armed with the whole armor of Alua keeps his palace, his goods are in peace. No one can trouble them. But, always a but. Read it please, verse 22.
But when a stronger than he shall come upon him, and overcome him, he taketh from him all his armor wherein he trusted, and divideth his spoils.
So you see, if you make the enemy come upon you stronger than you are, he will overcome you. He will take away everything, all the weapons that you have, all the weapons that you trusted in, and will take everything from you and share up the spoils. So you'll be left with nothing, weakened down. So we have to be strong in emunah, people. That is why we have to go through it. We have to go through the fire as soldiers being trained for strength. Verse 23.
He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth.
So, in other words, when you say you are strong, and something in the world or something comes and overpowers you, then you cannot be with Hamashiach. Why? His Ruach cannot be leading you. because you have been overpowered by the enemy. Therefore, you will not be able to gather with him. And if you cannot gather with him, then you are going to scatter. You are going to do the will and the work of the enemy. That is where Emunah comes in, people. You cannot be righteous except through Emunah. We are going to cause problems and trouble. So, if we have not denied ourselves and are converted, we cannot overcome in the new covenant. I think we look at 2 Peter 2, 1-22. Did we not do that? 2 Peter 2, let me see it. I think we looked at it. Not yet? 2 Peter 2, 1. All right, so this, no. Yeah, we didn't look at this. This is what is happening in this end time today. This is what is upon us today. 2 Peter 2, 1. Go there, please.
You've got something written over this.
Oh. Oh, thanks. Oh. All right, go ahead.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the master that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
So likewise now in the end time, there are false teachers, false prophets, bringing in damnable heresies, all sorts of teachings. And false teachings abound in the world today. Verse 2.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of.
So the way of truth, evil shall be spoken of it. Even that is what happens today. If you call a Christian and let them listen to what we're saying, they are going to speak evil of it. Many people are going to speak evil of the way, because the way is narrow, and few there be that find it. So those who have not found it will look on it and criticize it. Continue.
And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. So
covetousness is a high part of this end time apostasy. With feigned words, they make merchandise of you. That is why almost everyone who is preaching this thing is seeking out to find some way to earn money out of what they are doing. Merchandise. Verse 4.
For if Eluah spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment,
wow,
and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the unholy.
A reminder that only a few people were saved in Noah's time. Continue.
And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live unholy. And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them in seeing and hearing vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. Yahuwah knoweth how to deliver the
holy or the righteous out of temptations.
And to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lusts of uncleanness and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed, they are not afraid to speak evil of dignities.
So Yahuwah knows how to deliver the righteous ones out of temptation. So if you're seeking after righteousness, the Most High will help you deliver you out. You'll be in the temptations, perfected in the temptations, but He will always make a way for you to escape. But those who walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise authority, they are presumptuous and not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Dignities there are officials. Verse 11.
Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before Yahuwah, but these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption.
So you see, it's important to get understanding, so that you don't speak evil of the things that you don't understand. And this is why it's important, again, to prove all things, hold fast that which is good. If you speak evil of the things that you don't understand, it says you shall utterly perish. So if I am in the wrong and I'm speaking evil of the right, I am in a big, big problem. 2 Peter 2:13.
And shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children.
This is the state of the world today. All right, we don't have to go any further for the state of this world. So this is why we have to come out of her. This is why we have to flee out of the midst of her. Now, very importantly, we have to flee. We must overcome afflictions that are caused by tribulation in order to overcome. Let me get this thing off the screen. Yeah. We have to overcome 1 Thessalonians 3, 2-5. We have to overcome the afflictions caused by our temptation. 1 Thessalonians 3, 2.
And sent.
All right, start from 1.
Wherefore, we could no longer forbear.
When we could no longer.
When we could no longer forbear, we thought it good to be left at Athens alone, and sent Timotheus, our brother and minister of Elua, and our fellow bearer in the message of Hamashiach, to establish you and to comfort you concerning your faith, that no man should be moved by these afflictions. For yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto.
We are appointed to afflictions. That is why when I spoke about Jacob, I said that all of us have to bear the burden of Jacob to overcome. So the afflictions, Shaul was not saying you will not go through afflictions. He says, don't be moved by these, because those things were appointed unto us. As believers, we have to go through afflictions. Verse 4.
For verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know.
Now, again, when believers are gathered together, we must not expect everything to be comfortable and a bowl of cherries at all time. We will go through tribulation some way or somehow. Verse 5 though.
For this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your faith, lest by some means the tempter have tempted you, and our labor be in vain.
See? So Shaul, here's the scenario. Shaul knew that they had to go through the tribulation. So he was impatient, wanting to hear, I wonder if the tribulation that they went through, that Satan got charge over them, and our labor would have been in vain because he would have snatched them away. So it says, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your emunah, to know if you are still strong, lest by some means the tempter have tempted you and our labor is in vain. So, but they had a good report. 1 Timothy 3:6.
But now when Timotheus came from you unto us, and brought us good tidings of your faith and charity, and that ye have good remembrance of us always, desiring greatly to see us, as we also to see you.
Continue.
Therefore, brethren, we were comforted over you in all our affliction and distress by your faith.
For now
we live if ye stand fast in the Master.
If we stand fast. So there was a good report. Throughout the tribulations, they were strong in emunah and strong in love, and always remember them. So he said they were comforted. And in verse 8 he says, now we live if we stand fast in the Master. Not if we just believe in the Master now. If we stand fast despite the tribulation. Let me see if we can go a little faster. So it says the Lamb will overcome in the end because he has already overcome. The point is, for us to overcome in the end, we first have to overcome just as Yahushua HaMashiach. That is why John said in 1 John, when he appears, when he comes, it does not what he shall be. Let me get it. I can't remember these verses exactly. But when he appears, we shall be like him. It's in 1 John 3:2. Go ahead. It's not on the screen.
Okay, no, sorry.
Oh.
Beloved, now are we the sons of Eluah, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is.
We shall see him as he is. Why? Because we have overcome. And when we have overcome, when he shall appear, we shall be like him. So we first have to overcome. And the Lamb will overcome in the end because he has already overcome. Revelation 17:12-14.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them.
Cannot overcome the Lamb because the Lamb has already overcome. Continue.
For he is Master of masters and King of kings, and they that are with him are called, and are chosen and faithful.
So, the Lamb will overcome in the end because he has already overcome, and we will overcome in the end if we have already overcome. So if we're in a position where the world still has us, we have work to do. We have to first overcome so that when HaMashiach returns, we shall be like him. So, how did HaMashiach overcome? And it's quite obvious. Hebrews 12 verse 2.
Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the stake, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Eluah.
There we go. He is the author and finisher of our faith. So for the joy that was set before him, the joy that was set before him is him being king of the entire world. And to see sinners get their atonement through him. So for that joy, he endured the stake, despising the shame, and is now set down at the right hand of Eluah. So we too have to have this, this attitude of looking to the kingdom. A joy to think that we will be in the kingdom. If we don't have any joy going into the kingdom, it still means that we love the world. So we must also first overcome so as to overcome in the end. Just like HaMashiach overcame, we also must overcome. So if we go into the book of Revelations chapter 2 and 3, to the 7 assemblies. Each one of them is given a promise of a reward if they overcome. The promise is if they overcome. And look at the promises now. So, like how Hamashiach was on the stake, and for the joy that was set before him, this is the joy that we have to set before us. And let's hear them from 1 through to 7.
To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Eluah. He that overcometh shall not be hurt in of the second death. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. Can you scroll up a bit?
Number 4.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my words unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers.
Even as I received of my Father, and I will give him the morning star. There's more. Verse 5.
He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels.
There's more.
Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Eluah, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my Eluah, and the name of the city of my Eluah, which is the new Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my Eluah, and I will write upon him my new name.
There's more.
To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame, and am set down with my Father
in his throne. All right, so that was part 1. Part 1 is the importance of us overcoming the world. We first have to overcome ourselves, though. So we have a dual task, overcoming ourselves and overcoming the world. So our big task is overcoming the world of today and the world of the near future. Because the world of today is very comfortable. The world of the future, it's going to be a bumpy ride. And that is what we're going to look at. How much time have we been on? This is what we're going to look at now in part 2. Because, yeah, if it goes, then we crank it up. So, the big test of our faith is overcoming the world at this time. And we spoke of it earlier. The challenge to flee is our first obstacle. Very first obstacle. We've read them before. Let's read them again. These are our first obstacles of overcoming the world at this time. Jeremiah 51 verse 6.
Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
Flee out of Babylon. Verse 8. 50 verse 8. Jeremiah 50 verse 8.
Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks.
Now Revelation 18:4 brings it into the New Testament.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Come out of her, my people. He says flee. He says remove. In another one he says go out. And this one says go forth out of. And then in Revelation 18:4 it says come out of her, my people. All instructions that depend on our obedience to the instructions and our acting on the instructions, not dependent on him doing anything for us. As it says in the book of the Nazarene, that the Most High will not do for man anything that man can do for himself. You know, that's very important. Can somebody find that? Can we find that? Because that's very important with what we're actually saying at this time. Can we find it? This is it's at page 83. Page 83, it's chapter what? Chapter 8, verse 83, page 83, I said. Verse 44.
The disinherited say, all things will change when Yahuwah wills it. But I tell you, the Father will not do the work of his sons.
The Father will what?
Will not do the work of his sons.
So when he says, come out of her, he will not do the work that you need to do, which is come out of her. When he says flee, he will not do the work. You have to do it. Continue.
The deliverer comes to take men to their places of labor and will ease their burdens there. But he cannot undertake
the whole of the task. You have to do your part. You do your part, he does his. He cannot do everything. What do you want him to do? To come and pick you up in Babylon and take you out and do everything? I had to sit back and say, oh, I believe. So it's a joyride. That is not Yahuwah. That may be God, but that is not Yahuwah Sabaoth, the great Achaya. That's not him. Continue. He will
initiate the rule of Elohim, but cannot force it upon men.
Hold on. It's not on the screen. Very sorry about that. Let me get it. Let me get it on the screen. All right, that's it? All right, go ahead now.
He will initiate the rule of Elohim, but cannot force it upon men. He will teach them to judge the underprivileged justly and to deal harshly with the arrogant.
All right, so what you want to get out of it is that the Father will not do the work of his sons. You tell you to flee, he's not going to come and pick you up because he told you to flee. All right? He will initiate the rule of Elohim, but cannot force it upon men. It's what we said. Isn't that what we said in Babylon? You're sitting in Babylon and you come, and he comes to pick you up and you're a Christian. Why are you coming for me? I'm okay. He will not force it upon men. Okay. So we were down to, oh yeah. All right. So, overcoming the world today means overcoming the fourth kingdom of the book of Daniel. That is where we're at, people. We are at an exciting time in our history. The fourth kingdom of Daniel is upon us, and our task is to overcome. But the Most High initiated it when he says, come out of her. That is your first step to overcome. So Daniel 7 verses 1 to 8. Daniel 7 verses 1 to 8. Go ahead, please.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and, behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And the four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Now here's a bad man. This is the one that's developing in our time. Verse 7.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
It was totally different from all the other kingdoms upon the earth, because it will encompass every single nation upon the earth. Verse 7. Verse 8.
I considered the horns, and, behold, there came up upon them, among them, another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And, behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
All right, again, this is the anti-Messiah. This is a man who will be ruling this 4th kingdom. One man dominating the 4th kingdom. So these beasts manifested today, they are manifested in the book of Revelation, and we looked at it before, Revelation 13, 1 to 10. That was the first beast. And these people have gotten so brazen because they have erected a statue outside of the United Nations. They call it UN Sculpture for Peace and Security, something like that. And this beast is made up in the same likeness. You wonder if they're actually mocking the Bible because they call it peace and safety. And people, they are actually giving us clues, because remember, the devil has to tell us what he's doing before he does it. Now, if they call the sculpture the UN Sculpture of Peace and Security, what does the Bible say in Thessalonians? When you think it's peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon you like travail upon a woman with child. I think it was last year they erected it. They are telling you that they are going to execute their rule of terror upon this earth suddenly. Bam! Like that. And I was speaking the other day and telling someone that when this thing starts, it is not going to stop. So you're having peace on this world today, and you're kicking back in Babylon and seeing everything go. You go to the mall, you go here, and you get your hair done, you do this. People are talking about things ending, but you're not listening. Why? Because you see things looking just as they have always looked. You don't see anything. The people are telling you that when you say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. They gave us trouble in this world with the pandemic that they gave us. Then after the pandemic, they gave us the peace and safety. What do you think they are doing in this time? Do you think they're going to let go of their grips? They have distributed the mark of the beast. What they want to do now is set up the beast system. Set up the system, preparing the way for the antichrist, that one man to come and rule this world and to control and dominate the world through the artificial intelligence. One central quantum computer controlling the whole world. That is how Satan. Remember, Satan cannot be like the Most High, to be in us and know everything about us and know our thoughts. What he does, puts this thing in us so that they can extract the information from us and monitor us and everything, so that he can be in charge of the entire world. That is the time that we're upon now. And people are refusing to hear, refusing everything that you have said. And that's not me alone. I'm not taking credit for it. This has been a set of people that the Most High has enlightened from all over the world, who have been speaking to you ever since. Everything that you have said has come true little by little. You have some people online that put out the things that have come true. But when they come through, it is like we just think that we don't get excited about it because we knew it was coming. So we don't even go back and say, okay, remember we spoke about this. No. Everything is coming to pass, people. And people Yeah, mic check 1 2. Thank you. Sorry about that for all those. I want to say sorry, we have a power cut here. This is very common here. This is a daily occurrence here in South Africa. So, back from the power cut. Sorry about the intermission, okay? So we were speaking about how the beasts are manifested today. So, in Daniel 7:15-28, Daniel's vision was interpreted, and we showed the interpretation of that earlier. Now, in the 2 Thessalonians and in Daniel 7, it tells us that an anti-Messiah will arise, deceive, and persecute the end-time saints. This is why people we need to overcome. We need to be soldiers now. If there is any time when we can take abuse, disrespect, rejection, every single negative thing, all of us, we have to now exercise ourselves in that way. Because a time of fire is coming upon this earth, in which the saints will be in the hands of the anti-Messiah. And then only those who are strong will overcome. So let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2, 1-12. We've used this very often. 2 Thessalonians 2, 1-12. We've used this very often because it describes the anti-Messiah system. But in the end, it actually is alluding to a lawless one, which is the anti-Messiah, who will come upon this world and be ruling this world. 1 Thessalonians 2, verse 1.
You got 2 Thessalonians.
2 Thessalonians 2, verse 1. Sorry. Go ahead.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Mashiach is at hand.
So Shaul knew from that time that the day of Hamashiach, certain things will have to happen first. So he was telling them, don't think that it is close. It was not close to them, but it is now close to us. Verse 3.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
The man of sin, the son of perdition. They call him the antichrist or the anti-Messiah. Man of sin. And this is what the man of sin will do. Verse 4.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim.
So what did he say, the little horn? The little horn that struck down the 3 horns. What did he say? He had a mouth speaking what? Blasphemies. Speaking against the Most High. Read 4 again, please.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, so that he as Elohim sitteth in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim.
Sitting in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. And if you go to the injection thingy, there are people who do videos and tell you about the makeup, the DNA makeup of man, and how Yahuwah's name is written in our DNA, and how this injection, this thing that they put in our bodies, that it will change the DNA from a double helix to a triple helix, which is 666. Sitting in our temples, because we know 1 Corinthians 6, 19-20 tells us that our body is the temple of the Most High. So they sit in our bodies through this injection that they put in us, showing himself that he is the Most High. Because by putting himself in us, then he can control us. And he is going to put his mark in us to show that he actually is king there. Read 4 again, please.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, so that he, as Elohim, sitteth in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time.
In his time. This is now the time. The 4th industrial revolution. This is the anti-Messiah. Verse 7.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
And then
shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahuwah shall consume with the ruach of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Remember in Revelation 17, I think, it tells us about the Lamb shall destroy them, the beast. Here it is. Continue.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders.
So there it is, people. After the working of Satan, it will be Satan inhabiting this man, this lawless one. And Satan did it already with Yahudah, Judas. Satan entered into Judas, and Judas was called the son of perdition. Satan is once again going to enter into a man, a world leader, and do his thing among this earth. And the world will be given into his hand for 3.5 years. Continue.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
All right, so this is the anti-Messiah system. This comes with Christianity and all sorts of deception. That is the anti-Messiah. Because John says already there are many anti-Messiahs, but there's an ultimate one in the end that is going to come. So he will come with all deceivableness of unrighteousness. In Revelation 13, it says that he will make fire come down from the heaven. And in the book of Ascension of Isaiah that we're going to look at, it also says that he will do all sorts of things and convince the saints that he is who he says he is. And it says, with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish. So those who perish will be deceived. They will be overcome, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So here's the hallmark of the overcomer. The overcomer will love the truth, so that he will be saved by the truth. Verse 11.
And for this cause Elohim shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
That they should believe a lie. In the book of the Ascension of Isaiah, it tells us that almost all the saints will be deceived. It will be deceived, and will only be a little small amount that is left in the end who will overcome. That is why this teaching is important, people. This is the day, the age, the season of overcoming, when we have to be soldiers and we have to make sure that we train to overcome. Read 11 into 12, please.
And for this cause Elohim shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
That's it. Don't want to believe the truth, have pleasure in unrighteousness, you're going to be swept away. And there are many people who say they are believers who are not exercising, who are not preparing for this time. If you think you're bad, say something that they don't like. Hey! Soldiers, are abused verbally and physically in order to perfect them. Physically and verbally. When they are in training, they call them all sorts of the worst languages and they cannot retaliate. Or else they will receive punishment that they will make them cry. So they have to bear the abuse. It's the same as us people. We have to go through it. Be willing to go through it. Let nothing faze us. And you see, anger is the enemy. I tell people that I have undertaken that I'm not going to get angry again. Unrighteous anger I'm talking about. Fleshly anger. If you do that and if you exercise that, people, it will help you in self-control. Voluntarily do things. This is my advice. Voluntarily do things that you know that are going to keep you in self-control. You know you're too greedy. Fast. You see, fasting, that is a very dangerous weapon. You see, people who are not in control of their flesh, all you need to do, go fasting. You see, when you wake up in the days, let me tell you how the system works now, Mr. Sinful Man. How we are wired. You see, when we wake up in the day, in the mornings, your body is calling for food. If you give your body that food, as soon as he has digested that food, he wants more. Digest it again. And he wants more. For some people, he wants more. But think about this, and those who fast, listen to this. But when you fast and you deny him that first meal, you can go without food through the day. But eat your breakfast and then say you're going to fast. I dare you to do that. Your body is going to annoy you and nag you. Give me the food. Give me the food. Why? Because he got it the first time. Fasting. And the whole bottom line of that is that by denying your body, you have given yourself more self-control. You have more self-control, you are more able to overcome.
Isn't that what breakfast means?
Break the fast.
Break fast.
Yeah.
Because we fasted all night, no sleep.
Huh? Yeah. So stating the thing.
Isn't that what breakfast means? Break fast, because
Yes.
we've been fasting all night while we've been asleep.
Yes. So when you break the fast and then you go back to fast immediately, your body is going to rebel in no uncertain ways. So what is that saying now for us? If we indulge and then all of this comes upon us, we're going to be unprepared because we're going to be so used to indulgence that we are not going to be able to resist what is coming. And we're going to see what is coming, what Isaiah saw, that which is coming. But before we look at that, we have to establish again about this anti-Messiah, because you have many people who don't believe in it. I've seen videos on some people who say it is a fable, nothing like that. I guess because, we don't spend enough time in these end times. It is prophesied several places, but it is disguised in several ways. Let's go to, it's in Isaiah 14, when it speaks about, let's go there, Isaiah 14. About 14, I think. 14:12. This again speaking about the anti-Messiah. This is Satan coming to possess, to dwell in a man and cause havoc on the earth. Verse 12. And by the way, Isaiah 14 begins with telling us in the end time, Yahuwah will yet have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Yasharal, which tells you that this is the end times it is talking about. So let's go to verse 12.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Allur. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
All right. And if you break this down, you will see that this is what they are doing today. Don't want to go into them because we've gone into it before. And for the sake of time, the heights of the clouds, and we know that the computer system that they set up is called the cloud. And they are going to use a computerized AI system to control. And this Satan is cast down to the ground. And he said he will ascend into heaven. He will exalt his throne above the stars of Allur and sit in the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. And we spoke about Babylon being the north. So this is a man who will be ruling Babylon in the end, the world kingdoms in the end, and who will be under the spirit of Hasatan. So just throwing that quickly. So let's go to where we intended to go in the first place. The anti-Messiah prince and king of Tyros. Ezekiel 28 verses 1 to 19. Ezekiel 28. All right, these verses tell you of these things. Prophecy against the prince of Tyre. Ezekiel 28 verse 1.
The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyros.
Say unto the
prince of Tyros.
The prince of Tyros. Now, there are two, what do you call it? All right, we just spoke about the prince of Tyros, right? All right, go to verse 28, verse 11 to 12, and we see it's speaking about another.
Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyros.
Upon the what?
The king of Tyros.
So we just spoke about the prince, and now we are speaking about the king. Very important, very, very important separation there. So let's start at verse 1, and we're going to see what it means. Ezekiel 28, verse 1.
The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyros, Thus says Yahuwah Allur, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am Allur. I sit in the seat of Allur, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not Allur. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of Allur.
So you see the consistency? It's a man saying he is Allur. This is the prince of Tyros. The difference between the prince and the king here. The prince of Tyros will be a man who will be possessed by the spirit of the king of Tyros, who is Satan. So the prince will be the man who will be possessed by the king of Tyros, and we're going to see. So the heart is lifted up, and it says, I'm Allur. I sit in the seat of Allur. Isaiah 14 again. Sit in the congregation in the side of the north. I shall be like the Most High. Same scenario. In the midst of the seas. What does the sea here refer to? The midst of the seas. People in the midst of the whole world. I am going to sit in the seat of the Most High in the whole world. This is the anti-Messiah, fourth industrial revolution leader who is going to lead the new world order, all of the kingdoms in the earth together, controlling every single nation, every single fish in the sea, every single person. I sit in the seat of Alua in the midst of the seas. And sit in the midst of Alua means that they are in control of this system. All of those persons who took those marks in their bodies, they say they're going to have control over them. Yet thou art a man and not Alua, though thou set thine heart as the heart of Alua. Verse 3.
Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
Why? Because you know that these people, they tell you that in this world, there is a secret place in this world where they extract every single information from all sorts of activities all over the world. Have you heard about it? All over the world, they bring everything you do on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything you do on the websites, everything, cameras that are watching, cameras pick you up, facial recognition, everything. They gather everything about every single one. And you see the manifestation of this in their digital devices, Siri and what's the other one? Alexa, and all of those. You ask them questions and they just tell you right away. What do you think? Same principle. Yeah? Thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. And that is it, how it is today. Right now, today, there's hardly any secret that you can hide from them. They have the digital devices. Every one of them has cameras in them. These people are spying on you, taking your picture. There's nothing you can hide from them. Every single thing, every conversation that you do is recorded. They know your thoughts. They know your emotions. Wiser than Daniel. Verse 4.
With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures.
What does it say in Revelation 18? When it's speaking about Babylon, it says, thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries have all nations been deceived. This is it. With their wisdom and their understanding, it has gotten them riches, the great men of the earth. Verse 5.
By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore thus says Yahuwah Eluah, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of Eluah, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am Eluah? But thou shalt be a man, and no Eluah, in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, says Yahuwah Eluah.
All right. So that is the prince. That is the anti-Messiah that will be ruling the world. But in verse 11 now, it tells you about the king. It tells you about Hasatan, who will be possessing this man. Verse 11.
Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus says Yahuwah Eluah, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of Eluah. Every precious stone was thy covering, and sardius and topaz and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created.
Continue.
Though thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so, thou wast upon the holy mountain of Eluah. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee.
This is Hasatan without a doubt. And notice now, when we say the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, Satan utilized Babylon, the merchandising of Babylon, to corrupt the world. Verse 16.
By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of Allure, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub. Gone past it.
Yeah. O covering cherub from the midst of the stones of fire. Continue.
Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee.
So that is why Satan will be in a man, so that he can be before kings, so he can be beheld. Verse 18.
Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shall thou be any more.
All they that know thee among the people, which means that he will be a man that is known. That is why many people now are speaking about who is the Antichrist? Who is the Antichrist? Some say Obama, some say, I've heard Obama, I've heard Trump, I've heard Prince Charles, Elon Musk. That's a new one. So it will be a man that is known. All right? So in Revelation 13, 1 to 10, it tells you that the first beast, which will eventually be led by a man, will control the world. It also tells us about a second beast in Revelation 13:10, that in Revelation 19 to 21, a second beast that will help the first beast. And even in their final destruction in the lake of fire, it tells us about the two. You have what is called the beast, and you have what is called the false prophet. Now, the false prophet comes from a religious order. Two beasts in Revelation 13, one that has to do with merchandising, with the kingdoms of the world, and the other to deal with religion. Likewise, when they are brought down into the lake of fire, it will be the same. It will be the beast and the false prophet, religion and the world. Revelation 19 to 21.
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army.
All right, so the beast will be a man who will be leading the kings of the earth and their armies. This is a new world order, one world kingdom, one man leading the kings of the earth, coming to fight Hamashiach. Verse 20.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone.
So we have the beast, anti-Messiah as they call him, and then we have the false prophet, which will be the religious beast, the second beast of Revelation 13. And remember, it says the beast that wrought miracles before him, and it is said that the beast can make lightning fall from the sky in Revelation 13. So these we have done many times, so we just leave it for you to read it for yourself. We will not go into detail with it. So the second beast will help the first beast. Revelation 13. Let's see how the second beast, which is the religious beast, the false prophet, will help the first beast. Probably just scan through it. We've done it so many times. 13:11. Read from verse 11.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
So this religious order, the false prophet here, the second beast, he exercised all the power of the first beast before him and caused the earth to worship the first beast. This is how he helps the anti-Messiah. And haven't we said all the time, when referring to 2 Thessalonians 2:7-12, that Christianity is the anti-Messiah religion? This second beast here is the Roman Catholic-led Christianity that causes people to worship the antichrist world system, and to worship the world system and to get people to worship the beast. Verse 13 says, the false prophet who wrought miracles before him. Verse 13.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
14.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
See this anti-Messiah Christianity system, a whole lot of power is going to come out of them in the end time. We're going to see it in Ascension of Isaiah. Verse 15.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
All right, so we won't go into details into all of this because we have done it so many times before. We have even have an entire playlist on the mark of the beast, and we've gone into this over and over again. Verse 16.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Now, very importantly, it says in verse in verse 12, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. Now you see this mark of the beast? The mark of the beast comes from the first beast. But the second beast causeth, because his job is to cause people to worship the first beast, he is the one in verse 16, and he causeth all. So the thing that they put in the body is not coming from the religious order. The religious order causes people to take the mark of the beast. And how do they cause people? We saw it during the pandemic. They were there in the background. Christianity was the foremost proponent of this thing. And even the Christian churches became puncturing centers. And people could go to different puncturing centers in the churches. They cause all to take the mark. Verse 17.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
And we see this being laid out today again, as we spoke about in the digital system. Every nation in the world now coming up with their digital currency. I think it was announced that the US will be coming with one as well. Digital. Yeah, what do they call it? No, it's FD, CBDC. Yeah, but they have a name for theirs. The Fed what? Fed now. Yeah. So every nation in the world, Jamaica has theirs called, what is it called again? I don't know how little Jamaica come to be in the top 8, the first 8 countries. You see, that's a sellout. Almost 200 countries in the world, and Jamaica is among in the first 8 who had digital currency. How is that enough? Huh? Yeah. Sell out. And you hear him talking about this thing, proud of it like it is something good. And you have to get used to it because we're going fully into digital and it's going to be powered by AI. Yeah? How can you be saying that to your people? What you have done, you have sold out your people to the devil. That is why during the pandemic, I told people if there's one thing I wouldn't want to be, is to be a world leader at this time. Because you have to sell out your people, or else they're going to kill you or depose you. Yeah. I remember the president of Tanzania. Yeah. There were other people who came out and they spoke about it, and it doesn't, all of a sudden they die. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, the Asian president as well. Yeah. So, it's a world system. And verse 18 tells us, read verse.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
666, and that 666, of course, as we have looked at in several videos before, is the Greek word chi, stigma, which is equates to Christ on a cross, which shows Christianity as the anti-Messiah religion, the religion of the second beast. But we won't look into that today. So many times we've looked at it, we need to move along. So, the beast and the false prophet were destroyed. We saw that before. Now, where is it? I didn't set up there's one that I want to look at before we finish. And that is we spoke about it before, the account in the Ascension of Isaiah. Now, the Ascension of Isaiah, and you can download this book from, I can go a little broader, from our website, justaword.org/downloads, or you can just go straight to the downloads page. Straight to the menu, rather, and go to the downloads page. Now, the Ascension of Isaiah is a magnification, I think, of Isaiah 6, where Isaiah described that he went before the Most High. And this is now Isaiah giving more details of what happened when he went before the Most High. Let me see if this is, it's too wide. So read chapter 4, page 14, verse 1.
And now Hezekiah and Josab my son, these are the days of the completion of the world. After it is consummated, Belial, the great ruler, the king of this world, will descend.
Will do what?
Will descend.
Continue.
Who hath ruled it since it came into being.
Hey!
Wow.
You tell some people this, that Satan has ruled the world. They will say, no. The Most High told you, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Yeah. Adam gave up his dominion to Satan, and Satan has ruled the earth from then. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So what we are having here, this is very, very significant is to what is happening here in this end time is the Most High now is taking rulership of the earth. That's what's happening. Satan will no more be ruling. That is why at the beginning of millennial reign, Satan will be bound for the 1,000 years so that he cannot give any more trouble upon the earth. Continue.
After it is consummated, Belial, the great ruler, the king of this world, will descend, who hath ruled it since it came into being. Yes, he will descend from his firmament in the likeness of a man.
You see? Continue.
A lawless king, the slayer of his mother, who himself even this king.
And that's a clue. The slayer of his mother. Continue.
Will persecute the plant which the 12 apostles of the beloved have planted. Of the 12, one will be delivered into his hands.
That was Judas, who was delivered into his hand, and the word said Satan went into Judas. I don't remember the exact words. Verse 4.
This ruler in the form of that king will come, and there will come with him all the powers of this world, and they will hearken unto him in all that he desires.
He will give him all the powers of this world. So here is the trick. Remember in 2 Thessalonians 2:7, it tells us that they all will be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. The only way to escape this anti-Messiah ruler in the end is if you overcome and you walk in the truth. Because he will be so convincing. And let us think back at how people are. Christians will tell you that you can't tell them anything about JC because they've seen miracles. You see the people who see and go by what they see? Yeah? You see the people who walk with what they see? These are the people who are going to be deceived. Walk by emunah, not by sight. You are going to walk in believing the truth, not in what you see. Because the anti-Messiah will be given all the powers of this world. He will be able. That's why I said in Revelation 13 that he can make fire come down from the sky. He will be able to do all sorts of marvels. That if you are one who are following signs and following what you see, isn't this what they do in Christianity? They move from church to church and you hear, oh, miracles are in this church. And people say, okay, and they flock to that church. What they see. Continue.
And at his word, the sun will rise at night, and he will make the moon to appear at the 6th hour.
Wow.
And all that he hath desired, he will do in the world. He will do and speak like the beloved, and he will say, I am Eluah, and before me there has been none.
All right, so hear this now. This brings us back into the book of 1 John 4. Verse, let me go there. Let me go there. This one just came to me. 1 John 4:2. No. Yes. 1 John 4:2.
Hereby know ye the spirit of Eluah. Every spirit or ruach that confesseth that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is of Eluah. And every ruach that confesseth not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Eluah. And this is that ruach of antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world.
So the anti-Messiah will worship you will worship Yahusha as the Most High. That is the spirit of anti-Messiah. What this is saying, every ruach that confesseth that Yahusha is come in the flesh is of Eluah, which is saying every person that confesses that Yahusha came as a man is of the Most High. But everyone who does not confess that he came as a man, who confesses that he came as a God, is anti-Messiah. And hear the trick in the end. They will see this anti-Messiah speaking like the Messiah and worship him and believe him when he says he is Alua. You see what I'm trying to say? Same thing. We have been trying for years to tell people, these Christians, Hamashiach was a man. He had the Spirit of the Father in him, just like we had the Spirit of the Father in us, except he was given the Spirit without measure. Yes, he was a special man, but he was a man. But what do they say? No, we worship him. So when the anti-Messiah, he's going to sweep away every Christian because they're going to say God has come back. So let's go back to the book. Oh, we were still there on the screen. Let's go back to the ascension of Isaiah. Read 6 again, please.
And all that he hath desired, he will do in the world. He will do and speak like the beloved, and he will say, I am Alua, and before me there has been none.
And guess what in verse 7?
And all the people in the world will believe in him.
Because they have the spirit of anti-Messiah, worshipping a man as the Most High. Verse 8.
And they will sacrifice to him, and they will serve him, saying, This is Alua, and beside him there is no other.
Mm-hmm.
And they greater number of those who shall have been associated together in order to receive the beloved, he will turn aside after him.
Notice this verse here. You see why we have to overcome? The greater number of those who shall have been associated together in order to receive the beloved. The greater number of people who are in fellowship. The greater number of people who have fled out of Babylon. He will turn aside after him. You see it? So, the importance of overcoming. If we are not straight, our eyes are going to lead us and we are going to be led astray by the anti-Messiah. In verse 10.
And there will be the power of his miracles in every city and region.
Stop there. Remember we spoke about the 2 Thessalonians 2 and we spoke about it in reference to Christianity where it comes to the anti-Messiah spirit, that it is still, the anti-Messiah has been around since the time of John, so it is the same spirit. People always ask, what about the miracles in Christianity? It is because of the same anti-Messiah spirit. It says there will be the power of his miracles in every city and every region. And verse 11.
And he will set up his image before him in every city.
And this is what they did with Christianity. They set up the image of Caesarea Borgia, a false image saying that that is the Messiah, and made people worship him. Verse 12.
And he shall bear sway 3 years and 7 months and 27 days.
3.5 years, approximately. Verse 13.
And many believers and saints, having seen him for whom they were hoping, who was crucified, Yahushua HaMashiach the Master, after that I, Isaiah, had seen him who was crucified and ascended, and those also who were believers in him. Of these few in those days will be left as his servants.
Few. Continue.
While they flee from desert to desert, awaiting the coming of the beloved.
While they do what?
Flee from desert to desert.
While they do what?
They flee from desert to desert.
So you see people in the end time, it's not the Most High coming together you from anywhere. It's going to be a challenge. Flee, you will have to be running. Flee. Verse 14.
And after 1,332 days, the Master will come with his angels and with the armies of the set-apart ones from the seventh heaven, with the splendor of the seventh heaven. And he will drag Belial into Gehenna, and also his armies. And he will give rest of the set-apart, whom he shall find in the body in this world, and the sun will be ashamed.
No, why did he say that? So the Master will come with his angels and the splendors of the seventh heaven, and he will drag Belial into Sheol and also his armies. And he will give rest to the set-apart ones who shall find in the body in this world. To show, again, Christianity again. Remember, Christians are supposed to be raptured when you're a believer. Isn't that so? So there's not supposed to be any set-apart ones or saints or holy ones who should be in the body in this world, because everyone should be coming with Hamashiach. Are we seeing it? Read 15 again, please.
And he will give rest of the set apart, whom he shall find in the body in this world. And the sun will be ashamed.
And the sun will be ashamed. And I'm seeing something here from Isaiah, separating the saints from the people, the set apart ones who will be found in the body. Verse 16.
And to all who because of their faith in him have execrated Belial and his kings.
That's it. That's the whole thing that we started on. Overcoming the world. It is those who overcome the world through faith, through emunah, who the Messiah is going to gather and reward. The first challenge is to flee out of the midst of Babylon. If you are not willing to flee, the world has overcome you. No angel is going to come for you. You have to flee and save your own soul. And if you do not, it is a manifestation that you have been overcome by the world, by Satan, who has dominion over you. Read 16 again, please, because we're almost done.
And to all who because of their faith in him have execrated Belial and his kings. But the saints will come with the Master with their garments, which are now stored up on high in the seventh heaven. With the Master they will come, whose ruachoth are clothed. They will descend and be present in the world, and he will strengthen those who have been found in the body,
together with the
saints in the garments of the saints. And the Master will minister to those who have kept watch in this world.
So the saints are those who have died, or those who have been caught up together with them. This, who I believe is 144,000. And those who remain in the body will also reap their rewards. Those who remain in the body are those who have fled out of the midst of Babylon and are wandering from desert to desert, awaiting Hamashiach, rejecting the rule of the anti-Messiah, and they will be rewarded into the kingdom. So that's it. But we have to first show how we overcome this anti-Messiah spirit in the end. And we go to Revelation 12, which should be the last place that we end today. Revelation 12, and we will go to verse 9 to verse 17. This is where we are at this time. Revelation 12, verse 9.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
So this is the anti-Messiah now. This is the anti-Messiah. We are at the end of this age. And let's see what it says. Verse 10.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our Eluah, and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Eluah day and night.
Now let's read this slowly together, George. This is the pivotal verse. Verse 11.
Revelation 12, verse 11.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. So those people who are in Babylon refusing to flee, because they love the world, there's no place for them. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, through emunah in Yahusha. And that emunah is the Revelation 14:12 emunah, the faith or the emunah of Yahusha, which means you have emunah that is as strong as Yahusha, willing to give up your life just like Yahusha did. All right? Overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, through his atonement, and by the word of their testimony, because they lived their lives as a living testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. So let's see what the anti-Messiah will do in this end time. Satan will be doing. Revelation 12:12.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
So when he comes down in the end time now, where's the anti-Messiah? He is going to try to do everything quickly. Verse 13.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
Now here's the important part for us now.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent.
So how did the woman reach in the wilderness? How did the children of Israel reach in the wilderness this time? Isaiah 16:14, it shall no more be said, Yahuwah liveth, that brought out the children of Yasharal from the land of Mitzrayim. But Yahuwah liveth, that brought the children of Israel out of the land of the north, out of Babylon. And how did he bring us out of Babylon? He told us to flee, and he gave us his ruach to lead us where and tell us where to flee. So this woman, having fled, will be placed in the wilderness to be sheltered from the face of the anti-Messiah. That is why it says they will be in deserts wandering, waiting on Hamashiach to come. They will not be under the rule of the anti-Messiah. Verse 15.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Eluah, and have the testimony of Yahusha HaMashiach.
Can't catch Kwashi, you're catching shot. You know that one? Can't catch Kwashi, you're catching shot. In other words, if you can't catch him, you'll catch his relative, somebody close to him. So the people of the Most High who has fled will be protected by the Most High. The anti-Messiah, the dragon, Hasatan, is now going to say, hey, I can't defeat these people. Let me go. To the ones who were listening to just a word, saying, flee out of the midst of Babylon, and they refused to flee. Eh? The people who remained in Babylon, that is who the Satan, the anti-Messiah, is now going to turn to. And he's going to pour out all of his wrath because he's going to be angry. So because he's angry that some has gotten away, he's going to pour out all his wrath on those who are under him. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Eluah and have the testimony of Yahusha HaMashiach. So he will not be warring with the rest of the world. Why? The rest of the world would have complied to him. and we've been part of their beast system. But the true believers would not fall into his hands, so they will still be rebelling. So he's going to turn and leave those in the wilderness and go to those who are among them, who are now going to be fair target, because now nothing can be hid from him. He's going to know everyone, where everyone is, whatever you're doing, and then he's going to target those believers, and woe be unto us. So we are given an opportunity to escape this. We are given an opportunity. We are told to flee out of the midst of Babylon. And the choice is very clear. We have to overcome. We have to be overcomers. If we are not overcomers, then it means that we are and can be overcome. Now, if we can be overcome, or if we are overcome, the strong man of the house has been defeated by one who is stronger than he, and therefore we are not able to be with Hamashiach, to gather with him. Instead, we will be scattering because we will be under the influence of the spirit of Hasatan. So that is why it's important, people, to ask, are you an overcomer, or will you be overcome? All right? So that's what I have to say. Huh? The dragon. Which saints? Yeah. Yeah. It says dominion was given him over the saints. Power was given him over the saints. All right. So where are we now? What about YouTube? Any questions? Let's see if I can get. Any questions on YouTube? Let me go and see. All right. All right, let me see. Anything? All right, so those who like, the teaching, could you please, if you like, please like it on YouTube, and please share as well. All right. No. All right, I don't see any questions. Oh, it's beautiful. I've had the same $20 and $1 bills in my wallet for 3 months now. Oh, Jamaicans' own is called Links. That's what the Jamaicans one is called. All right. Powerful teachings we should all rewatch over and over again. Send to your family and friends. I agree over and over again. What a blessing. Thank you, Allah. All right, so I guess it was so clear. Kimberly said, what a beautiful teaching. All praises to the Most High. Where is there? We have a playlist. Let me get the playlist. We have a playlist with the land. I'll post the links here. No, that's not it. And could you please share with someone, please? Because I think YouTube is doing a number on this channel. I think so. Let me get the where is the land? Yeah, so we have a playlist called Flee Out of the Midst of Babylon, Where Should I Go? And here is the playlist I'm going to put here in the chat. right, so there it is. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Where should I go? That is the playlist. Huh? If you took the shot, are you lost? Partially. If you took the shot, are you lost? Copy that. All right, so this one answers the question. If you took the shot, are you lost? Okay. Anything else before we go? Let me know. And please leave a comment on the video, please. 45 people watching live at the moment, and not even one comment on the video. Please leave a comment on the video if you really want to help us out. We have 40 likes already and not one comment. Oh, if the comments would go with the likes, we would be good. All right, how long have we been on? Oh, let me see. We can get it from here. Oh, a little over 3 hours. Okay, good time. Okay, so no comment, no questions. So it's time to go. We have been here sitting for 3 hours as you have been. So want to thank you all. Please share this with someone and continue to make it just a word. Remember our radio station, Jaw Radio, JAW Radio. You can download that from the Google Play Store. Just search for JAWRADIO. Or you can get it and listen to Jaw Radio from our website, jawradio.org. JAWRADIO.org. It is our 24/7 radio station with music and teaching. For those of you who like music and what we have done, we have compiled Yahuwah music for anyone who wants to listen. And yeah, check out Jaw Radio. All right. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for all the kind comments. All right. Even Pedro. Pedro Shetu, I know that name. I gave a kind comment here. Said great teaching or something like that. Great teaching, yeah. All right, so thank you all. All praise is due to the Most High. This is not of us. This is of Him. All praises. So, until next time, continue to listen to Jaw Radio. Until next time, Shalom.